Well, I appreciate everybody coming. We're moving on to the next game. But I'd like to talk about something that I haven't heard anything about. For opening game, our conference schedule, our conference teams had an amazing weekend. We had a team in our league beat a team from a Power 5, 4 of the 5 Power 5 conferences. And I hear about how we don't play anybody at home, and 2 of those teams are coming here to play. I mean, one of the teams in our league beat the ACC, they beat the Pac-12, they beat the Big Ten, they beat the SEC. Wyoming beat Missouri, and if I remember right, that's SEC. And they're coming here for a home game. And so is Nevada, who beat the Big Ten. So I guess our schedule has gotten a lot better than everybody seems to be thinking it is. And our league is a whole lot better than everybody thinks it is. So please don't tell me about the lack of playing home games against good opponents and the lack of good teams in our league. Now, you got any questions?
Well, can you guys take one off UCLA then to keep up the league's success?
I don't know. We'll find out. That's why we play.
Do you like your chances?
Well, I think it'll be a good football game.
What stands out or not about their game against Cincinnati? They
Well,
have some problems.
This is just my opinion. I think they outplayed Cincinnati.
In what respect?
I think they outplayed them on offense and defense every way they could, except they turned the ball over 4 times or they would have won the game. So losing a football game because of turnovers does not mean that you did not play well. Obviously, the turnovers are a huge deal because they prevented you from winning. But they moved the ball well on offense. They would have scored probably 2 more touchdowns if they don't turn it over. They played pretty good on defense. They play hard. They're very talented. A lot of times you outplay people and lose because of a turnover or 2. Well, they outplayed Cincinnati and they lost because they turned the ball over. So I've heard things about people worried about them too. UCLA is a very good football team.
If people dismiss teams like Weber State, a lower division, against you, how does the rule change? I guess UCLA supporters dismissing teams like you for being the lower tier.
I don't agree with that. I just told you we're not a lower tier. 4 of the teams in our league beat Power 5 teams in the first weekend of the football season. I don't consider us a lower tier.
Do you come into this game with kind of a chip, Rocky, because you jumped right out and kind of made a statement for the league and yourselves?
No, I just made a statement because we're around here. We always play the card that we don't belong, and we're in a league that belongs, and we belong.
What's your biggest concern facing UCLA?
Speed. They've got a very fast football team, and watching on film, I think they're faster than we are.
Tortoise in the hair, Rocky?
I don't think it's that bad. I don't think there's that much difference, but I think they're faster than we are, yeah.
What's the plan of stopping Martell Irby?
Well, I assume he's playing since he practiced last week and he's practicing this week. He adds a dimension to their game that they didn't have last week. In fact, most of the time they had a wide receiver playing tailback. So obviously he will make their team more well-rounded, and you have to worry about stopping the running game more than you probably did last week.
Can you address your offensive issues after the first week?
Yeah, we didn't play very well.
What do you want to mostly see cleaned up from last week's game before the face?
I'd like to score a touchdown. or 2 or 3 or 4.
Is there any confidence lost from your players, or what are they talking about in the locker room from your offense?
I don't know if our players lost any confidence. I wouldn't think so. I mean, whenever you start the season and you play a first real game against, at full speed, game speed, a lot of things don't go quite right. And the best thing that happened was we found a way to win anyway. But I think everybody's a little disappointed on how they played the first weekend. Maybe there's 2 or 3 teams out there that killed somebody, beat somebody by 50. They're not disappointed. But even the teams that won, a bunch of them have mistakes that they have to clean up. They lost a player or 2 to injury that they have to replace. You don't know what kind of football team a team is until about halfway through the season.
You mentioned UCLA was quicker. Is there anything you're anticipating aside from that aspect from UCLA?
No, I mean, I think they've got a great coaching staff, and they give you a lot of issues that most people don't. I mean, I see personnel groups out there that line up certain ways and shift all over the place in order to try to get a numbers advantage. And so they're hard to prepare for, especially on defense, because they're all over the place. They end up in some unusual formations, and they end up in different places than they start in. And so your team has to really be sharp mentally. And if you're thinking too much, then you don't play quite as fast. And if you don't play quite as fast and the other team's faster than you, you're in trouble. On offense, I think that they're big and strong and athletic, and we better block them a whole lot better than we blocked last week.
Coach, is Juwan going to be 100% on Saturday?
I hope so. I mean, he's got an ankle sprain, and he practiced a little bit yesterday. He's going to practice more today. Hopefully it'll be 100% by game time.
Have you had any thoughts about recruiting Michael Alves from St. Augustine or Jake Burton from Granite Hills?
We recruited him. They decided to go to UCLA.
Rocky, one of the bigger questions coming into the season was your defensive front. How well did you think those guys held up, especially given you only have one senior there?
They did all right for the first game. We have a lot of improving to do all over our team. But I think I said this before the season ever started. I said I think about 3 or 4 weeks in, we're going to be a good football team. We're a long way from being a good football team right now, I'll promise you that. And we need a couple, 3 more games before of live action against quality opponents, which we have this week, before we're going to round into shape. And if we don't get anybody hurt, we're going to have a good football team. We're just not very good right now. We're very, very average right now. But we're going to be good if we don't get anybody hurt. We're going to be a good football team.